This firebrand here is accomplishing goals. As you look at that beautiful American flag in the background, and Michelle got me a hat, "In God We Trust" with a cross. So welcome to the infamous Charles Van Morgan Show, getting more and more famous every day. Thanks for a little help from loudmouth enemies that made to line themselves up with what they don't know, have a clue as to what they're doing. And they think, oh, this is shocking to me, what's happening. I'm getting defamed all over the Facebook, and it's shocking to me. I didn't plan for this. Oh, okay, well, I've been at this just a little while, and I know exactly what I'm doing. And a lot of people are taking the bait. And we're going to explain to you what the hell's going on so you don't feel like we're underwater, because we are fighting. If you're involved in Voters Truth and Rage, if you're watching this channel, we are fighting for you. And we have strategies that are very effective. They're taking root right now from stupid people, and we're fighting for you and your children. I'm on your side, and I'm a calm, reasonable person, and there are tactics and strategies I use to get your will across, the mass populace of Tennesseans, the mass populace of people in the United States of America. And we're going to explain something to you now. I did not choose this fight. God put me in this fight. For whatever reason, I don't know. God gives people jobs to do. Mine has been a life where I have been in danger from the public and from government officials in fighting for what is right. And while I was fighting for what was right, and I'm going to explain to you what this means for you. While I was fighting for what was right, people in government power, dirty creeps and thugs that they are, nasty people, put a huge scar on me. Now, that's not out of vindictiveness or bitterness, but I do have a scar from people in government power while I was out working for you, providing public safety, keeping little children alive, keeping you alive. They hung me out to dry for a lot of different reasons, because I showed their good old boys up, because I was the best at what they did and they do. So they reframed things and hung me out to dry and put me in a bad light all across America, all across the world. They're using those lies to this day. So I didn't choose this fight, so I can go along with it, hide, or I can fight back. And the life I have lived, learning from experience, the only son of a widow, I didn't have a daddy to fight for me. Although my mother fought pretty damn hard. She was better than 10 men in fighting for her children, so I'm not minimizing that. I had a mother, a good, godly, God-fearing mother. I'm the product of a God-fearing mother. And I've seen her back down many a men for her little children, including me. And I had sisters, no brothers. And I learned out of necessity growing up how to fight. That's the way God put me on the planet. It's called training. And then I went through this protecting lives and property and being the best at it by their own admission. I mean, I can show you awards, which are meaningless to me. The lives I saved were the important thing. I was the best in the state at what I did, bar none. And they can't even do an execution right these days. And in the government, because they're not people that are good people. They don't know what they're doing. It's all about power and money to them. They have a semblance of breadcrumbing you, but they don't know what they're doing. They're trash. People in government power. And they hung me out to dry, put me out in the news to try to have me assassinated. And affected my little children. That's where they stepped over the damn line. And they're stepping over the line today, reframing it, but this is about protecting your children and you, is what this is about. Now, they don't even understand what they're doing. It's according to plan, thank you very much. It's not very hard to make people angry, get this chain going that's good. They just don't see it like I do, because things are counterintuitive and they're not that smart. Trust me, they're not that smart. They have no clues what they're doing. I do. Been there, done that. I know exactly what I'm doing. And this is not an appropriate position for everybody, because you have different life circumstances. Everybody shouldn't do what I do. David had to do what he had to do. And other people, this is not your calling. It's not what you're supposed to do. God has a plan for everybody. You do you, and I'll do me. I've had great opposition from people that care about me, claim they do, that are stupid as hell. And in the Bible, and this is political war, it says, with good advice, make war. And the same, with good advice, make political war. And politics is civilized warfare, just like a court process. Except for politics is more brutal than a court process. In a court process, they have rules. So I was put in this fight, put in a bad light in the news, with my life in danger. I mean, I've been there before. And I could have went along, hope it went away, with people out threatening my life and threatening my children, and back up and stay quiet. And I discussed with people who care about me the options. With good advice, make war, it says in the Bible. And this is not war with bullets, although they might hurl some at me. I mean, you can feel the heat. People hate my guts. Why? Because they're evil, wicked, demonic, some of them gossipers and wicked people that like to get stuff started, and they're helping. Thank you very much. You use what the enemy gives you. It's like water. Go where they allow you to go with what you got when you're less powerful. And we're less powerful than the dirty government. All of us, the mass populous Tennesseans, as it stands. But I am trying to point out to you that you're more powerful because there's more of us. While they are trying to humiliate and demoralize me in all of Scott County, Tennessee, and I've got some good news for you. They're hoping that they need to get this statewide and nationwide, which is okay. We'll do that. Thank you very much. The pit they fall in, which it's okay either way. Now, if they listen to my broadcast, and I'm sure they do, they might already have the snowball rolling towards hell that they can't stop, because we'll stoke the fire. It's a firebrand. If you're waiting for some little baby to get on here and be nice to people, better trying to indoctrinate your children to hell and indoctrinate them into things that you don't believe in, you go right ahead. I'm not going to stand for that. I'll fight back like hell with tactics and techniques that are perfectly legal and legitimate that you ain't never dreamed of, you idiots. Not people on here that are listening to me. Just some of them that are helping. Now, I predict today a huge audience. Why? Promoted by haters, thank you very much. You're very beneficial. It is a very legitimate, logical tactic that works like magic. And we got them going. So, good. And it is not a position that other people should be in. It is a position that I've already been in. So it's like water, go with it. And I have discussed with good advice, make war. That's scriptural. My options as far as the place that the government put me in life, in a dangerous circumstances, and my family, and benefited liars and fraudsters and criminals. And, yeah, we know you're here. Yeah, we know you're here. Punch that gas, yeah. And you, they do this to you. It's not just me, I'm just an example of it. I can just stand, I know what I'm doing. And it's not all about running into danger. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. This is very dangerous work. Extremely dangerous. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. you might want to subscribe and like and follow, because this is playing out in real time. Now, they're being slanderous, defamatory, conspiracy theory, and all kinds of stuff setting me up for somebody to think it's okay to assassinate me, just like they did to Charlie Kirk. And I'm not Charlie Kirk. I believe in the same God Charlie Kirk did. The God that is the only one through the Lord Jesus Christ. But let's see if we got anybody in here. We got just a few. So like, share, and subscribe to the channel and help me get the message out. So in Scott County, all across the whole state of Tennessee, they have these little peddly little political meetings where they invite all compliant sheep candidates to come and be an echo chamber for their little political game that benefits the people in power and benefits some of the people in the audience that are outspoken and really running for public power, although not directly on the ballot. They do it by the backdoor method, acting like they're just a citizen that's politically active and concerned about their community. And really, they just got a self-interest, and they're wanting to demoralize any candidate that speaks up against their interest to show the public that they're for the other people in there, and the political candidate usually takes it, and people see how weak they are, and they just go on, and they win public sympathy and public votes by being in a public forum, speaking out for their own interest, and they win a lot of clout and power. The political candidate puts his tail between his legs and kowtows out, and doesn't continue, and doesn't I'm here for it. That's right. So yeah, some people ain't got the guts. And they go along. We'll see. And these people over these forums are deeply involved in politics, and they know that these double agents, people that sit in the crowd that are running for public power, not on the ballot, but they're pushing an agenda that benefits them and acting like they're just a concerned citizen. And again, any candidate, we're getting attacked by a dog, any candidate that speaks out against it gets hammered. We'll make friends with the dog. Get out of the road. Yeah. Try to get her out of the road. Oh, it's okay. I'm not dangerous. Hello. I don't want to get out in the road. So yeah, that's a nice dog. But any candidate that speaks out against these people for you and their self-centered political interest will get hammered by them. Now, they don't stand up and ask you a question, although it's framed in the news media as a question. We'll show you. They stand up and try to humiliate you by their political speech. There's no question in there. There's a demolition of your political position disguised as a concerned citizen that's wanting good for everyone in the room and the mass populace of Tennesseans, which is absolutely not true. And if you go against it, they will damn well show you, hey, this is how we do you. But you see, I've been there before, done that, know that, and also know that being inflammatory, truthfully inflammatory, having a firebrand, which has always been my way, it's a natural phenomenon, God's personality given to me. It stirs these people up, and it helps. It doesn't hurt, it helps. Now, I would rather not have been in this in the first place. It's not something I choose, something God gave me to do. Sometimes jobs God gives you is not pleasant. You look at Jonah. I mean, He spent 3 days in the well because he didn't want to do what God asked him to do. And I'm doing this. God's put me in the planet, on the planet to do this. And I've talked to counselors, people that care about me with good counsel, make war. And we've discussed alternatives and variables and things that I should do. Because believe it or not, I'm made in the image of God, and my life is important. It's extremely important. And so is yours. And so is your children. So this is not a game. This is not a joke. And I know there's an afterlife. There's a heaven and hell. These people, this is their world, boy. And they're evil, wicked people. And there's a group of them that are politically active. And they make you think they represent the whole status quo of Tennesseans. When math tells you that they're only a small part that show up to vote, that sway the election in their favor. And this time, they are trying to destroy our children, indoctrinating them into public schools, forcing them to go into the gauntlet. And there was no question asked in that question that I was asked the other day in their little forum that they asked me to come to. And these people that asked me to come to it are defending these rogue voters that are against you and your family and your choice. And they think that these few people that they do vote. So there's some power there, political power there. It's wicked power. It's not power that represents you. And they know that a lot of people don't vote so that they can get their way. And these people that invited me are afraid of them. So they're pacifying them and acting like someone that stands their ground. And I'm doing a little more than that. We're advancing. We don't back up. You stick your ugly head up in offense to little children and indoctrinating them. We're moving forward, not in a violent way, in a political way. I'll demoralize you. You don't understand. I've been there. Have you? You're fixing to. This is something that's at work every single day, building political clout. It's not something to fly by night, post on a Facebook or a YouTube that's going away next week. This is years in the making. We've been beat up, battered, knocked down, trashed, stumped, put in jail, beat up for speaking the truth. And I'm still here. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. And you will. You don't have the fortitude to understand what the hell's going on. If you want to fight me, hunker down, prepare for a long battle, and I've already got ammunition stored and ready, not bullets again. I don't want to say anything where the Knoxville police or TBI or FBI or a lot of them listening to me will come in and charge my head. We're talking about speech that's not threatening imminent violence or has the ability to do it. I don't have a stockpile of anything. Now, I have enough weapons to protect my safety and well-being. That's perfectly legal and legitimate. And I have a gun permit, and even if I didn't, you can carry a gun in Tennessee. But we're talking about political fight. So join the channel. It's Voters of Truth and Rage. And this governor's race forum is just a means to get the message out to uninformed voters, even some at the forum that weren't loud and boisterous, and they're not going to go against that type of stuff. They don't want to deal with what they're trying to do to me. They know if they disagree with those people, they'll frame them as angry. So they keep quiet and they go to the polls and they vote against those people quietly because that's not their calling for that kind of fight. But these people publicly try to demean and humiliate people so that you won't vote against them. And they don't represent the mass populace of Tennessee. It's very few people that are like that sway people by bullying them. And you don't bully a bully. So I know exactly what to do with them. And I'm doing it. And I didn't choose this fight. The government chose this fight for me. And God allowed it to happen to put me in this place, in this time, to fight back. And the hatred that's going on is a political tactic that works like magic. Now, it's not fake, it's real. I really have these positions. But you know how you make these fakers angry that are self-interested? You disagree with them. Simply disagree with them. And they get so mad because you have a position that disagrees with theirs. They publicly disagree with yours and try to humiliate you. They don't ask a question. They try to publicly humiliate you. And after the fact, been through this before, go on every channel you're on and slam the hell out of you. Like it keeps me up late at night worrying. I mean, what part of, if you've ever had a scar and been in a real fight, do you not understand? You haven't, I have. You're not going to win this fight against me. That's your warning. Now, I know they won't take it, but don't say I'm not a God-fearing person that lets people know before the disaster befalls them that I know exactly what I'm doing. This is not a surprise or a shock. In fact, it's working a little better than what I thought. Simply disagreeing with them and saying, pointing out their slander towards you and returning the favor truthfully because you're fighting for little children. Oh man, they get horrifically out of their damn minds and then gaslight you. And they don't even know what they're doing. And already promised to write an article, and I hope they do. Now they'll take snippets of stuff I said and print it in the paper. None of that's true. And I think this should go nationwide to show what the government and people in the news and people in politics at these political forums, and I've been to several of them that represent only a handful of Tennesseans and make the public think that they represent all of Tennesseans. And one of them is Fatback Hornback here in Knox County, representing the Republican Party for them. I went to one of his forums in a church, in a Christian church, where he invited me. Now, he knows my positions. And Republicans stand for positions, or do they? No, they don't. Not in Tennessee, they don't. And at a church, he invited me to speak at a church, and they allowed at a church where they allegedly stand, and Mr. Hornback stands against abortion on the ballot for people to get people's votes, but they don't really do that. Because in the forum, they let a Democrat, proud Democratic candidate, speak at a forum, a Republican forum, in a church that is pro-life. Let her finish a sentence, and her values are, as one of the doctors said that's Democrat, if they survive the abortion and they're alive on the table, they sit around and decide whether or not they're going to finish the job instead of providing life-saving needed medical care to a hurting child that they've already tried to kill that's still alive. And that's murder. That's bold-faced murder. And the Democratic governor said that's what they do. And they allow people under that party, and I don't care what party you are, if you believe in that, you're wrong, to speak at a Christian church under a Democratic banner. It's not Democrat. Donald J. Trump said Republican in name only. They're not Democrat. They get votes for whoever they can because it's not about values, it's about power and votes. And Mr. Hornback gets on invites me. I guess he thinks that I'll behave, I'll allow the hypocrisy to go on in plain sight and go along with the program because I'm afraid of him. He's a big old fat boy, powerful Republican. Dude, I've been there before, done this, and you're a little toy. You're not even a problem because you're easy to demolish. Hey, are you out of a job? I mean, your boss was that close to being indicted and didn't get reelected, and he's probably one of the best ones on the ballot. So you're the Republican Party representative saying, go vote tomorrow. Yeah, vote Republican. You better look into the Republicans that you're voting for. Do they really represent the values that they say they stand for? Or do they act like they do just to get power and your vote? And they do it just to get power and your vote. So Mr. Hornback asked me to come and then didn't want me to record And I knew I should record because I knew what was going to happen. I knew exactly what was going to happen. They let a Republican speak, which surprised me, and finish a whole 5-minute dialogue without interruption. And everybody clapped for pro-abortion, murder on the table after the fact. That's what they're clapping for in a Christian church. They're taking over churches, using the Republican Party inside a church as cover. We're Christian. No, they're not. They're about power. A lot of it demonic power. And excuse me, but the God I serve, the Lord Jesus Christ, is not afraid of standing up against demonic power, Mr. Hornback. And you ought to be careful, because I'm going to talk about some other stuff that don't involve me doing anything to you. You're standing on some shaky ground doing this out of a church. And I'm just warning you. If I was you, I'd get on my hands and knees and pray to God, the Lord Jesus Christ, for forgiveness and turn away from my wicked ways. It's not about power on this earth. It's pretty short, and as fatter you get, maybe shorter for you. You ought to get out and get some exercise like me, fat boy. You put yourself in the political target. You want some? I'll give you some. You think you're hurting me? You're not bad enough. You uneducated thug. And puts out a video, go vote for Republicans. If you're going to vote just verbatim without looking into things, that's your best bet. But I'm telling you, these Republicans are thugs. So he asked me to speak, and we got some names, dates, places, and times. We're going to talk about the cost of all this to you. The cost to you for their little rigged voting candidate forms that are all about a small group of people, their proxy, to purport their beliefs against the mass will, the mass populace of Tennesseans. The cost to you, because this is about Tennesseans. So I got up to speak against the politicity, against the corruption in government. That's not a secret that that's my position. I've lived it, I know it. A Vietnam soldier can tell you what it's like to be in a war in Vietnam and come back to be spit on. They don't appreciate that. They were fighting for this country, and I've told them, a lot of them, well, Tom has got it right, and they say, no, it hasn't, not really. Not really, it hasn't. That's the public persona. Well, it's better now. No, it's not. They're still not respected like they should, and they're dying off. They were literally spit on for protecting the ground of the spitters. And that still goes on to this day to a huge extent, a little bit undercover now, but it's still wrong and dirty. America, you need to get it right. We are losing our Vietnam veterans. They're dying off, the ones that survived bullets for you at an old age, and some of them that got shot and survived the bullet, and we have no respect for them when they've deserved it and earned it. And I've had my boots on the ground. I wasn't ever in the military in the state of Tennessee, not sitting in the parking lot making the road safer for you. I don't ask for your respect. I earn it. I earned it. I'm not a man over a business that exploited people for millions of dollars. I'm somebody that's got a broken tooth I can't fix because I spent my life protecting little children, and I'm damn sure doing it now. And the hecklers can find out the hard way there's a price to pay. And that's what I'm telling Mr. Hornback. There's a price to pay, Mr. Hornback. You fat boy, there's a God in heaven. You think that's a joke, church? That's a real thing. That's God's house. You better respect it. And they don't even let me finish a sentence hardly. Already join in protecting the politicity because he's protecting a dirty judge, because when she gets elected, little children don't get saved. You don't care about that. Then he gets in court and she rules in his favor. That's what it's about. I'm not a judge. I have no power over him. So I better get in line or shut the hell up if I'm going to stand against them. They want one side of the conversation out, their side, and it's a dirty lie. And I'm here to tell you. Now, there's a cost to be paid for that. I hope y'all appreciate it. As God leads, I'll do this every day, or stop tomorrow on a dime when he says no more. You done your thing. So this isn't promised forever. Depending on how God leads. So if you want us to stay, like, share, and comment, and contribute to your campaign. Vote. Voters of Truth and Race. This is about a hypocritical lie. Having Republican forums in a church building where they invite Democratic candidates and they let them speak a full sentence, and a person who's never voted Democrat in their life gets up to speak, always voted Republican for the most part, and they won't let me finish a sentence because I'm speaking against wickedness in high places. That's true to their face. They won't allow that. And then they get on the little phone the other day and make a video against me. We don't know what happened. I'll tell you what happened. You know exactly what happened. I didn't go along with your little political damn game. You lousy, fake person. I'd be very careful using the house of the Lord Jesus Christ to promote your fake political beliefs. You don't even believe in your political beliefs, Mr. Hornback. You believe in power. And let me tell you, and this is the rest of the story. So I've had a lot of people in my lifetime, son of a widow, try to fight me, think, hey, we'll take him down, he's nothing. I learned these lessons when I was a kid. Fight for myself. It's been a long time coming. You get pretty good at it when it's fighting for your life. Like Vietnam soldiers, they were pretty damn good at staying alive, the ones that are over here. You ought to respect them. I'll tell you, I know one, he's not to be messed with. You call him Mr. Bledsoe. And he's not got the awards that he's deserved. And these politicians stand on the backs of these soldiers getting elected while they step on them. If you care about soldiers so much, they don't care about soldiers, care about getting elected. Then why don't you get them their Purple Heart that they are due? You say there's no evidence. He's got stitches on his side that says there is. That's enough for me and his word. And there is evidence. So I've had people all my life go against me, try to demoralize me. I'm used to fighting that. It's really no big deal. There's consequences. I pray about things. Pray a lot. God hears people's prayers when they're being mistreated. God hears Tennesseans' prayers when you're being mistreated by the government, violating the Constitution. And these people in power are violating your constitutional rights. Christian church, they're having meetings in your church supporting the abortion movement. Right in your church under the guise of being Republican. They're not Republican. And they're not Republican at all. They're wanting to get power under the banner of Republican. If this is Democrat state, they'd put up a Democratic banner and have that meeting in your church. Raphael Warnock, one of the worst ones. Just like Herschel Walker said, you're a pastor. You ought to be preaching against abortion, protecting little babies instead of trying to kill them. And that's what this is about. And after they're born, if they don't get their way in their death, then they want to indoctrinate them in their public schools that teach creation. We came from a monkey. So, and that's not true. Tennesseans, Americans, you're made in the image of God. You have a soul that will go on forever. You'll meet the Lord Jesus Christ, or you'll meet hellfire. So, I've had a lot of people that speak religion. Oh, they got to talk. Oh, you can hear some of these fancy preachers. Oh man, they can just, it's so beautiful how wonderful they speak, but they don't have the Lord Jesus in their heart. I don't know that, God does. So eloquent. And these Republicans, so eloquent, but they lie and mistreat people, and they're mistreating you today in their courtrooms by the hour. It's not something that happens almost weekly or monthly. We're going to talk about some of these cases. It's happening on a daily basis. Every damn time. They've got power. They lied to you. So, welcome. So, we got a few. So, like, share, and comment. So, I pray about stuff. And you should too. And also, you know, got Smith & Wesson too for self-defense. But God's the greatest weapon. And this is just one tactic. And I'm just telling you, look back through your life and see if you prayed about stuff, what actually happened, took place. And I've had a lot of damn people who have went against me, tried to destroy me. And you look at what's happened to them. Mr. Hornback, these people in Cocke County may be welcome to your nuclear waste dump because you're fighting against somebody that's got the ability, the tenacity, and the fight and willpower to stop that stuff, because you won't stop it. It's a dump site today for Scott County that, as I understand, is near a railroad station that's going to bring in dump all over the United States, all over the state of Tennessee, and then all over the United States of America. You don't have the votes to stop it. You don't have the votes to stop it. That's what it's about. It's about voting power. You're a small county. And it'll be real lucrative for the governor's mansion to allow that, to get money from other states for dumping in your county. He'll never go there. He doesn't live there. Probably never set foot there except for to ask for your vote so that he can put a dump site there so that he can, you know what, on you. And that's what the next governor will do. I'm the only one that won't do that. Telling you the truth. Somebody else talking about, well, there's laws. I got a JD. Told him that in that meeting. I know the law. I passed tests on the law for years and years. It's not a fluke. You don't go to law school and pay a bunch of money and they hand you a degree. You have to go day after day in class, and it's not like regular classes. Has anybody ever seen the paper trail? And you have to be tested. You have to memorize the law, and you have to understand it. Memorization's easy. You have to understand it, what it means in real time. And there's like 11 different subjects that change all the time. And you have to take tests several times throughout the semester for 5 years. And then you have to take a test on every bit of that all at the same damn time with no notes, no paperwork, under time conditions. And several different tests, essay, writing, and multiple choice. That is so tricky. There's 2 right answers, just one more right. So this is not a fluke. I know the law, and people sitting there saying, well, this is what the law says. And let me tell you something. You can be a little kid, a novice, just get out of a diaper like one of them, and you can recite the law and read cases how the law worked wonderfully in that particular case under those circumstances. But what I am telling you is, in the state of Tennessee, you can take a legal education and go drop it over here in the river. It is meaningless. They don't care about the law. They manipulate the law to mean whatever they want under whatever circumstances they come up with. I've seen them do it in real time, seen them do it day after day in the back hallway of the courtroom down here in Knox County. And it happens all throughout the state. It happened in that forum in Scott County. Manipulate the truth. They don't care about facts. They spin. It's called deception. It's real, alive, and well in the state of Tennessee. And they try to demoralize dissent. And it's not me that just pays the price. I've already paid it. That's why I'm here. You pay the price. Tennesseans pay the price. Scott County might pay the price in a dump site for the state of Tennessee, a dump site for America. So this is your warning. Mark my words. And also, let me go a little bit further and say, people claim I use artificial intelligence and just go by that. No, I don't. I can't get artificial intelligence to tell the damn truth. So if you think I use artificial intelligence and that's all I do, I'm not a smart person. Ask it about nuclear waste being dumped in Scott County, Tennessee. And it will tell you, no, that is a potential in the Oak Ridge area, not in Scott County. But realistically, I'm telling you, what AI says not to do is that you could potentially get nuclear waste in Scott County, Tennessee, and you're fighting against the only person that is willing to step up to bat and stop that. Using the law won't matter because they'll manipulate that. It is meaningless. You need somebody to fight. Also using the law and with truth and fight and tenacity, not worrying about what people say that aren't telling you that's what they're behind. So you may get a nuclear waste site in Scott County, Tennessee. Not Oak Ridge, Scott County. They're trying to enlarge your dump site now, alleging it's for Scott County and Tennessee. That's the first step in a dump site for the United States of America on the railway system. And then one of the safest ways to transport, and they'll make it safer, is through a railway. You get across the road, it's through a railway. So they have their foot in the door, they get approvals, and you might have a nuclear dump site for the United States of America in Scott County, Tennessee. Very lucrative for the governor's office. They're going to pay a hell of a lot to put that stuff there. He's way away from that. He'll be on the other side of Tennessee. They'll probably move the capital to Memphis when that happens. But they'll be set in gold-plated houses living off your demise while your children get cancer. And you'll wonder what the hell happened. Well, I'm telling you what happened. Remember this in July 2026. I'm telling you what the hell happened. You didn't go vote. You let a few group of people, a few proxy people that stand for the government that try to annihilate and humiliate everyone that stands up against them and speaks the truth to power, and you let that go on. Well, good luck with that, because that's what it may get you. And I'm trying to stand up against that for you. And bad things happen to people on the planet, not necessarily just in the judgment day, on the planet that do wrong things. Bad things happen to them. Real bad, permanent things when people pray. And people like to talk about God, the one that made the universe. Not a big bang, God did. It's organized. He organized things good, and I know they're in a fallen state. But bad things happen on the planet to people that do evil. Not all the time, but they do a lot. And also when people are praying about it, it facilitates and initiates something very bad to them. It's kind of like a sign, hey, what you done was dirty and wrong. Now, they don't admit to it. They spin it like they had an unfortunate tragedy, trying to make everybody feel sorry for them and vote for them because of that. But you look at what they were doing before that happened, and it wasn't productive for society. And what happened to them wasn't good. Now, what happened to me was good, because it taught me how to fight and showed me the inside of the government, how wicked it is and how bad we need to fight these people. Unbridled, full throttle, like water, giving us whatever ground that they will give us, and we're taking what they want as we can safely. This again is a political fight. So Mr. Hornback, I pray about you, that your hypocrisy in a church will be exploited against you publicly. It already has to some extent. I mean, how's the unemployment line? So, and there's other people who created this opportunity for me to represent Tennessee and showed me the truth. There's other people who, one of them is dead now. Some of them are near death. A lot of them have had serious wrecks that they were, at least one of them partly at fault. Another one that was horrifically hit by a problem that she facilitated. And so bad things happen to people. God judges in the earth a lot. And so, and especially when people pray. So I'm getting a few smiles from people now that were haters before, maybe. But, and thank you very much. But bad things happen to people. When you pray, people that mistreat you, we're not powerless. Now we need to fight with our votes. And we also need to fight on our knees in prayer. It works. I've seen the wicked in great power, spreading himself like a bay tree, but I looked again and he was not. Behold, he could not be found. Straight out of the pages of the Bible. Pray about these people in government power that are using Christianity to sway you to indoctrinate your children. God is the judge. I'm not the judge. Absolutely am not. But I'm not a novice, and I know what God stands for and what he doesn't. And one of them is indoctrinating children and trying to kill them before they get here, before they can live on the planet. They still have a soul. You'll see these people, mass millions of people, probably billions throughout the existence of time when man's been on the earth. These people that haven't had the opportunity to live because of a ruthless, murderous abortions, they're in heaven. They never had the opportunity to praise God among the living that I did. Now, what extra benefit they'll get in heaven because of that, I don't know. But God sees this wickedness of people. And there's a day coming that these people will pay. And there's also a day on the earth that they could potentially pay that they may not if you don't pray and ask God to help in the situation. Call them out by name and also to vote. And I've seen it happen in real time where people are paid for the wrong they've done. Now they spin it. They always spin things politically. They reframe it, take stuff out of context, and put it in something that doesn't mean what it really means. And I'll tell you the truth. They were judged by God, and the truck's still out there. Other ones. So keep on. Keep on. So we're going to talk about the cost of government corruption to you. And that's my platform. That's what I talk about. It's dangerous. Nobody else does it at the level that I do. With truth, fierceness, and develop recognized, appropriate, successful, potentially, strategies. But I need your help. Can't do it by myself. We need all Americans and all Tennesseans to get up and fight. Fight like hell. Like, share, comment. And let's boost the algorithm. And subscribe if you want to. So, I got me 2 bottles of Coke today, because it's hot out here. 2 bottles instead of just one as you look at the beautiful view. So we're going to talk about the cost of public corruption to you here in the state of Tennessee. Got a few other things to go over. Welcome to the show. Call your family and friends and let them know we're here fighting for you. We're going to talk about you pay for government crimes committed against you. And how that works. You pay, they play. Only get caught about 1% of the time. So, many people think when a government official commits a crime, only that person pays the price. That's not true. They lose their job, maybe they go to prison. Closed case, right, wrong. You pay every time whether you hear the story or not. Today I'm going to show you exactly how, with real crimes, real cases, real names, real dollar amounts, not theory, documented fact, how you pay. You pay through your taxes. You pay funding investigations, prosecutions, and settlements you never voted for. You pay through higher prices when corruption drives up the cost of public contracts. You pay through delayed services when officials are more focused on covering up than doing their job. And also you pay through delayed or counterproductive actions where they're actually working against you. And there's my cat, where they're actually working against you. And you pay through lost trust, which is harder to rebuild than any budget line item. And we're pointing out that they're not trustworthy in order to protect you from their lies, because you shouldn't trust them. And sometimes you pay with lost freedom or lost lives. The promise of this show, I'm not here to hand you conclusions. I'm here to give you the documented record, what was alleged, what was investigated, and what was admitted, and what was proved in court. Then I'm going to ask you the hard questions. You can answer them yourself. And that's what we're going to do on today's show. So like, share, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for the contributions. And so that's the difference between this show and the government. I show you the work. Not reframing, shifting the perspective by altering its context, but changing the underlying of facts. I tell you just a bold-faced, honest truth. I hope this is working appropriately. So, Casey Moreland, the first warning, facts. Who he was. Casey Moreland, a Davidson County General Sessions judge, elected, not appointed, by the people of Nashville. Now these are some of the people you're electing in these proxies. I bet he attended a forum somewhere in Nashville, where he was upheld by the establishment, by the promoters of the event, asked pretty and nice questions by the members of the audience that were planted there to promote him because they got a benefit out of it. Not a dissenter that was going to tell you about the government corruption, that you need to vote for them to avoid candidates like Mr. Moreland. So Davidson County General Sessions Judge, elected by the people. And that means voters trusted him repeatedly with decisions about bail, custody, freedom, and justice for ordinary people who walked into his courtroom. Now that's who you elected. They elected Nashville Davidson County, propped up by the forums, and not asked hard questions, and not defamed in public. Yeah, they praised him, and the news media probably praised him. So, well, imagine that. These people are getting a free ride. They're getting a free ride. And that's not right. So that's the job. Protect the process, be a check on power abuse, not the source of it. That's the job of the judge. Pretty simple, isn't it? Stand up for the Constitution. A fellow judge, Melissa Blackburn, files a former misconduct complaint against Mr. Moreland. Even a judge complaint against a judge is not taken seriously enough. The allegation, he bullied female court employees, and then he threw a mattress and papers around the office of the mental health court. That wasn't a citizen complaint. That was one judge on the record reporting another judge. So if a judge even reporting another judge, they don't even take that seriously, because you can't take down a judge, even another judge, and she can't be taken down either. They're untouchables. The board cleared him in 2015 of that complaint that he was bullying female court employees. He threw a mattress and papers around in mental health court. Cleared of that complaint by the establishment of damn course. So in 2015, the Tennessee Board of Judicial Conduct investigates and clears him. They always do. Then get your name if you complain, and find out who is complaining on the judiciary, so that they can hang you out, know who the enemy is. That's what they use complaints for. The JAC language was, it was the unanimous decision of the investigating panel that the factual allegations of the complaint, which would have given rise to a potential violation of the Code of Judicial Conduct, did not occur. So, unanimous decision, that ought to tip you off in the first place. And we have several judges on a review panel because people see things differently. Hardly ever does anyone ever come to a unanimous decision unless it's rigged. You have like 6-3 decisions of the Supreme Court. 8-1, you have one dissenter. You're having these unanimous decisions upholding a judge. Of course you do. Because it's not even one dissenter, because it's rigged. It's rigged. Not everyone always agrees, but they do when it's a rigged system. That's rigged. That ought to give you an indication. Unanimous decision, investigative panel, that the judge stays, nothing here. A rigged unanimous decision. You look at decisions against me by the judiciary, 100% agreement. How does that happen? It's 100% rigged. It's not a jury by my peers using the Constitution. Moreland's own response was that the incident didn't happen at all, and Blackburn had been given bad information, that judge. So he completely whitewashed it. Didn't happen at all. She was given bad information. even went so far as to say that due to her being a new judge, and she ought to be able to decipher bogus complaints from real complaints. Completely whitewashing an incident where he bullied people, allegedly. Unanimous decision. Always unanimous in their favor. Not one person willing to stand up and fight, because if you do, they'll try to humiliate and annihilate you. Well, go ahead. I've been there, done that. That's the way God has put me here for this time and this purpose. So ask yourself, was the board right? Did the incident really happen? Did the incident really not happen? My personal opinion, it happened. He's bullying people. And from what I know, unanimous decision, that's rigged. I'm not going to tell you the answer. I know what I believe. I don't fully know it myself. I know when there's an unanimous decision among people, something's bad wrong. But I want you to hold the question, because it matters for what comes next. A different investigation begins in January 2017. What do you know about the same damn dirty judge? Less than 2 years after Moreland was cleared, the FBI agency opens a completely separate investigation on Mr. Moreland. Different agency, different evidence, different questions. According to court documents connected to Moreland's own plea agreement, the FBI began investigating whether Moreland, listen to this, solicited sexual favors in exchange for favorable judicial treatment while he was actively sitting on the bench in Nashville and Davidson County. So he's accused, not 20 years later, as in the Donald Trump case, currently sitting on the bench of soliciting sexual favors for rulings. Now that's not a new phenomenon. That's a phenomenon that's part of the judiciary, an active part that's going on to this day. It's dirty as hell. And so the FBI been investigating it. And I'm trying to protect children. Look what they're trying to do to me. Better protected by our current politicians than children. So this sitting judge was better protected by the current politicians and other judges that are now than little children are. Because if you stand up against them, there'll be a unanimous decision against you. Even if you're a sitting judge, you can't attack a judge. And they can't attack you either. That judge didn't lose their job. If you're a citizen, you will. So these judges are better protected than our children are. And the allegations get worse. According to the same court documents, Moreland allegedly accepted free travel and lodging in connection with this conduct. So he's asking sexual favors for favorable rulings. It's an allegation while he's sitting on the bench. He is getting accommodations, privileges for rulings. And it even gets worse than that. And this is not like the Donald Trump case. I mean, he's been convicted by an alleged jury of his peers in New York in a civil case, which is 51%, of sexually abusing a woman in the 90s. And the jury up there, people that are Democrats, convicted him. Now you think about that. And this is through the legal process. And they've ordered her to be paid $5 million. How can you disprove where you were 20, 30 years ago? You don't know. It's hard to prove or disprove. And then you don't have a date where they give you a date. This happened on this date. So you could try to pin it down and say, this is where I was. I got proof I wasn't. They give a broad range of date, 20 or 30 years earlier, and you're supposed to be able to prove by preponderance of the evidence where you were 20 or 30 years ago with a broad range of date. Now that's hard to prove for last week. Imagine the odds of trying to win a civil case with allegations brought like that. That's crooked as hell. And this is different. This is a sitting judge while he's judge right there with people alleging that. While he's on the bench. And he accepted free travel, lodging, in connection with his conduct, according to court documents. Not 20 years ago. Right then and there. When a woman came forward publicly with allegations against him, investigators say Moreland tried to pay her to sign an affidavit stating she had lied. So he's a judge and a lawyer, and he knows how evidence and things work. So he is rigging evidence to try to make him unconvictable by trying to legalize his sexual advantages and favors allegations that were made against him, trying to legalize them out. And that's the way they do. They use the legal system. That's why you can take the legal system. You say they had signed documents. You can take the legal system and throw it in the river down here. The corruption way outpowers any kind of legal attorney or courtroom that you ever dreamed of. It's a fight, a political warfare fight that involves, yes, politics, yes, the court system, but yes, voting and public pressure on these people, pointing out this stuff. It's not an easy endeavor. You see what happens in a local forum. They got it set up and rigged. You better go along with their corruption. They legalize it. Fraud, documents. You think? Yeah, I know how that works. I can prove it. But that doesn't matter in their rigged courtrooms with hand-picked judges. Your best bet is through a jury. But that doesn't even work when partisan politics comes into play sometimes. The documents go further. They describe discussions about planting drugs on that woman and orchestrating a traffic stop specifically to destroy her credibility. I've seen that. I've seen stuff like this. I've seen it personally, up close, firsthand. No, the state wouldn't do that. Yeah, they would. They do all the time, hourly, in their damn courtrooms, in the back hallways, in the judges' chambers. It's not a rare phenomenon. It is 1% caught. That's the problem. That's the problem. It's not rare. That's what I'm telling you. That's what we need to fight. So yeah, we got a whole bunch more people in here. Thank you. Like, share, comment. We're talking about crooked government, corruption at the highest levels. A specific case, one of the 1% that got caught, hugely more prevalent than what this is. But we're just pointing this out, and we're going to amplify it, because it is amplified. It is more prevalent than this. These people protect power like a fly on you know what. So, I've seen stuff like this. A sitting judge, the person sworn to protect the system, allegedly discussing how to frame a witness with planted drugs to make her look like a liar. The 1% that got caught when the FBI intervened, it's happening by the hour in your courtrooms all across the state of Tennessee, all across Scott County. They use their little political forums to prop up the establishment so they can sexually abuse you, so they can indoctrinate your children. I'm standing against it. Of course they try to frame witnesses and plant evidence and conspiracy theories and dirty lies about me. God put me here for this time and this place to withstand that. How long I'll do it, I don't know. I listen every day. We'll see what he says tomorrow. Like, share, and comment. And subscribe to the channel. Help us get this message out. This is for you. I get no benefit out of this. Why I'm here, God did this, not me. I know the experiences I've had. They're experiences to fight a war. Political war against these people. These people are violent and dangerous. Look what this judge is doing, a sitting judge doing that. Prevalent. I want to be precise here. These are allegations described in the charging and plea document, sworn to under oath, I might add. Not a separate conviction for these specific facts. They always plead down for these high-powered people. They add stuff for you. That distinction matters, and I'm going to keep making it throughout this show. But even as an allegation in a federal court filing, it should stop you cold. It's sworn to under oath by lawyers that have a duty to tell the truth. So it should mean something. Moreland is arrested by federal officials and charged with obstructing an investigation, tampering with the witness, and retaliating against the witness. This is a sitting judge. Not a novelty. Happens a lot. Just the novelty is that it got caught this time. And look at the level of allegations in the complaint. Sexual favors for rulings. And women don't like it. We had a sitting governor that destroyed complaints. Shredded sexual harassment complaints. Governor Bredesen fired a Tennessee state trooper that complained about sexual harassment appropriately through the chain of command because they got his name. They fire the complainant, rig evidence, and the court system backs them up. It's wrong, it's dirty, it's nasty. It's dangerous to you. That's the cost you pay when you go in a Tennessee courtroom. So he entered the plea before U.S. District Judge Waverly D. Crenshaw Jr. He was later sentenced to federal prison, ordered to pay restitution and forfeit funds. Those are some of the most serious that he pled to. What he admitted to versus what was alleged. This is important, and I said, I keep drawing the line. What Moreland pled guilty to was obstruction, witness tampering, and theft from a federally funded organization. Now that's just what he pled guilty to. That we know he said, hey, I did it. As a plea bargain, not to go through a trial. The allegations that he didn't admit to are still allegations on the record. You make up your own mind. I made my mind up. He's guilty of those things. Had you been accused of those things, you'd have been put under the jail and that added charges that didn't exist and convicted you. That's how the system works for them every time. The sexual favors for ruling allegation and the drug planning discussion were part of the FBI's investigation and court filings. They are documented on the record in federal court documents, but I'm not going to tell you who's convicted of those specific acts because that's not what the plea covered. But they're in the record. Both things can be true at once. The document allegations are serious and real, and the conviction was for a narrow set of charges, and both facts. The question that matters, cleared by the state's own oversight board earlier. Do you believe that by unanimous decision? How crooked is that? How crooked is that? So I got to get another microphone because the other one, they got me out of the Scott County political sabotage of me that played right into my game plan so fast I didn't get a piece to somebody took it, my speaker system, so I got to get another one. It's like $200, so if somebody wants to contribute to hear me better, please do that. So, and I'm planning on, I don't have a lot of money. I haven't spent my life exploiting people. I spent my life protecting people. and the state has put me in a bad situation, try to get a good job after they've tried to humiliate you to the world. And I'm fine, and I'll get my teeth fixed, but I appreciate contributions. So, and we got subscribers. So what's going on about public corruption? This is why I'm in the circumstance, and I'm fine. Fighting my way out of this hellhole that they've tried to put me in, and praying my way out of it. And they'll pay. But we're talking about their corruption. This is prevalent. Names, dates, and times. The question that matters, cleared by the own state's oversight board. They always clear them. They have an oversight board that runs cover for them. It's not a real oversight board. Unanimous decision in their favor every time. People say, well, they must be right. No, that shows you how dirty they are. How do you get several people in a room to agree on everything? They do if it's rigged. If they've got an incentive, like keeping their job rolling for the governor, then sure they will. If it was a real oversight board, you'd have at least one damn dissenter. I mean, come on now. That's got to be rigged. It is. The odds of 100% agreement for the government every time, all the time, against everything against them, and for everything for them, 100% agreement. I believe that goes on mathematically. Yeah, right. No, it doesn't. It couldn't. Obviously, it's biased. 100% agreement that that judge was right. Federal investigators uncover a pattern serious enough to produce a guilty plea and prison time. So ask yourself, did new misconduct start after 2015, or did the board process simply fail to catch what was already happening? They failed to catch it. They had an incentive to approve of wrongdoing. They had an incentive to approve of. These people are sitting there, party to it, if you ask me, of sexual favors in the allegation for judicial rulings. Wow! That'll go away. I won't let it go away. They'd like to make me go away. They tried to make me go away in every public forum that'll talk about this stuff. Why? You can refute me. You can have somebody stand up right next to me and say, I'm part of the Green Party, I just got out of dumpers, and we can use the law that never went to law school. You can refute me. It's hard to do. The truth's hard to fight, isn't it? And I'm fighting it. I don't need their damn forms. Invite me again. I can't even bring people with me to these damn public forums because we get threatened, and threatened with arrest, threatened with being beat up for speaking. The other side, for being the dissenter. Imagine what some of these people in these oversight boards feel. That's why they go along. Well, God's trained me. No thank you. I got my own opinion. I'll keep it. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Support the channel and help me hang in the fight. It's a fight for you. Trust me. God's put me in a position where this is the best alternative to keep fighting for you. So the second misconduct didn't have to happen in 2015. It was already happening. They just approved of it. That's what I think. And I know the answer, but that's you can make your own answer. But I know that question is fair, and I know Tennessee taxpayers deserve something more than asking it. Who actually paid for that misconduct by that judge? The court record shows what was stolen and what the restitution figure was. It doesn't show every honest judge in Tennessee, not very many, who gets a harder look from the public because of this. And many need to be not trusted because it's harder for them to continue to abuse you if people don't trust them and look under the rock to what's really hidden. Because they can't put everybody in jail. They have to have enough agreement to get by. We're trying to tip the scale, voters of truth and rage, to where they have a very difficult time in selling rulings in a courtroom for sexual favors, for tampering with evidence, rigging witnesses, legalizing false stuff, making it harder for them to do that. By having unanimous decisions against judges all the time, every time, trying to make it harder. So, the cost of the FBI investigation you paid for, the federal prosecutors you paid for, the court time, all that you paid for. They didn't pay for a damn thing. They never do. The indictment tells you what was stolen. It doesn't tell you what it really cost. It cost a hell of a lot to you. Now let's move on to another case that's here local. And it may not be what you think. The smaller case that proves the bigger point and why this case matters. Moreland was a judge. Big title, big fall, easy to cover. The next case is smaller in dollar terms. That's exactly why I want you to sit with it, because most corruption isn't a judge trading favors. It's quieter than that. It's routine, and it still comes out of your pocket. Who he was: Joshua Robert Smith, former officer of Knoxville Police Department. Badge, gun, sworn oath to serve this community. The investigation. And let me say, I think that the Knoxville Police Department is one of the best departments in the state of Tennessee. They're losing a lot of good officers due to retirement and getting fed up with the system. So, and I know the chief is watching me. I've got nothing against him personally. I know a lot of officers don't like him. And I would ask him to do right by people and allow freedom of speech, freedom to not agree with you. And whether they do that, I don't know. I respect law enforcement. I will not be beat on where my life may be taken away from me, serious bodily injury or death, and go along with that. That's a God-given right. While that hasn't happened here in Knoxville, it has happened in the state of Tennessee. And I will commend the officers of Oneida and members of the Sheriff's Department, former, who were very kind. Now, I don't know what they said behind my back, but to my face, they were very kind. Although I don't agree with them about everything, I do agree with their respect towards me, which is all I ask, which is what everybody asks for and deserves. Even foreigners, they deserve to be respectfully arrested and deported if they're illegal aliens, and treated appropriately, and their families, the numbers. So, the Tennessee Comptroller's Office, working with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, dug into Smith's overtime records. What they found from February 2017 through February 2019, there were 98 separate instances where Smith submitted false overtime requests. The numbers: falsified requests, 272 hours claimed that were never worked, at least 8,473 paid out for time that didn't happen. That's not a rounding error. That's nearly 2 years of a documented, repeated problem. His own explanation. At least he admitted to his misdeeds, to his credit, after he was caught, but still. Smith admitted he requested overtime pay for time he did not work and said he did it to help pay medical bills. I understand medical bills are real human pressure. A lot of people watching this show know the pressure personally. But a hard truth, financial hardship explains a decision. It doesn't excuse the theft, and it doesn't make the taxpayers who funded it responsible for covering it. So we've just had a shooting by police at a car in a city right outside of Tennessee, in the Memphis area, of a child. And you have a popular civil rights attorney banging the drums, filling his pockets. That whole case started with a theft, shoplifting, which causes billions of dollars across the United States of America by thieves. While I don't know, the police may have acted inappropriately. What I do know What I do know, like, share, and comment, is that what I do know, that started from shoplifting. If you don't want your little child to be shot, accidentally or on purpose, don't bring them to your theft, to your crimes. No one mentions that. Now, I know that is pretty extreme for that to happen, but when you're out shoplifting, bad things can happen, and you put your child in that situation. And where's the outrage about that? How many of you have shoplifted with your child? And that is not even mentioned. They're going to bash the police over that. That is pretty crooked. So like, share, and comment as you look at the beautiful view. We're talking about the cost to you of public corruption. So, on top of the falsified overtime, Smith also used a marked police car on multiple occasions to work an outside second job that had nothing to do with KPD, that directly violated department policy. Think about that. Marked car represent the public. It's supposed to mean authority, accountability, a sworn officer on duty. Instead of these occasions, it was a prop for an outside side hustle. Wow. And I have one of the news articles that shows that. And we're going to cover some other stuff, so hang on board. We got some other stuff on here about some of these dirt bags, and we got some plans today. Might have a special show this evening. The firebrand. We're going to see what happens. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen in advance for safety and security reasons, but we might go live peacefully and see what happens somewhere. So hang with me. A former Knoxville police officer indicted in theft, forgery, and official misconduct. August 2017. So it says, an investigation by the Tennessee Comptroller's Office, working in conjunction with Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, has resulted in the indictment of Joshua Robert Smith, the former police officer in the Knoxville Police Department. The investigation revealed that Officer Smith was paid at least $8,473 for time not worked from February 2017 through February 2019. 98 instances in which Smith submitted falsified overtime records for a total of 272 hours. Smith admitted that he requested overtime pay for time he did not work to help pay medical bills. Additionally, he used his marked police car several occasions to work a job not associated with the police department. He violated policies. The investigation was initiated after Knoxville Police Department first identified questionable overtime request by Officer Smith. He resigned May 30th, 2019. Indicted by a grand jury. Employers must provide adequate oversight of overtime requests and payments, said Comptroller Justin P. Wilson. I encourage that KPD has indicated they are adding more to provide improved oversight in this area. So, there you go. How it unraveled. So, that didn't come from a whistleblower or a reporter. KPD first flagged it internally, which triggered the wider investigation, but that was only after years of this going on under their watchful eye of you. How many of you got a ticket by him in that time? And the indictment, August 20th, 2020, he was indicted for 2,501 count forgery and 1 count of official misconduct. And so, why no indictment in my case? You know, they said I did some horrific things. It's because if they had indicted me, they know for a criminal charge that I have a right to go before Knoxville. Knox Countyans, a jury of my peers, not people involved in the system, to provide evidence. Hey, this is a lie. Look at how many times they lied. And get them to swear under oath to lie, I can show. They don't want to go there because they knew it'd be wide open to the public. The controller's own warning. Tennessee Controller Justin P. Wilson put it plainly in the announcement. Employers must provide alternate oversight of overtime requests and payments. Translate that. For nearly 2 years, nobody was checking 98 times. And I want to ask you, one officer, one department, one fraud, overtime slips, caught off almost by accident. How many departments across Tennessee have the same gap in oversight right now with nobody looking? Or they're getting called on political candidates, telling them that they don't deserve respect. I'm not accusing of every department. I'm asking a question. The controller himself basically already answered. Oversight has to be built in, not assumed. The hidden bill, what these cases have in common. 2 different crimes, 1 pattern. A judge allegedly trading power for favors, sexual favors, and later convicted of obstruction and theft. Happens hourly almost in every courtroom all across the state of Tennessee, all across America. 1% it gets caught. This is the time it got caught. This is the tip of the iceberg. Police officer falsifying overtime slip for 2 years. Different scale, different world, almost. But watch the pattern. Both were trusted with public authority. Yeah, we trusted both of them. Trust authority. That's the way people are programmed. Trust authority. At your own demise, maybe. Both had oversight systems that were supposed to catch them early. Both oversight systems missed it until something else exposed it, and most never gets exposed. Who really pays? When public officials steal, you pay. When a judge abuses power, you pay. When oversight fails and nobody notices for 2 years, you pay. The government doesn't print money, it loses. It gets more from you. It spends yours. It's not their money. I remember a lieutenant telling me that when I was going through this back in 2012. He said I would fight through court for my job. He said they don't care. It's not their money. It's your money. It's my money. The cost beyond the dollar amount. The Moore restitution figure is a number. 8,472 in Smith's case is a number. Neither number captures the honest judges in Tennessee, because most deserve close public scrutiny, though. Those who face public suspicion they didn't earn, the honest officers at KPD, who are the majority, who get side-eyed because of one bad actor. The cost of the FBI, the controller's office, the TBI, the prosecutor, the court time, all of it funded by taxpayers who never approved a single dollar of it. The iceberg question. Here's what should keep you up at night. Here's what should get you up in the morning to go vote today. The polls are open. It's important that you vote to show them that you're watching. Both of these cases were eventually caught. Moreland through an FBI investigation, Smith through his own department noticing a pattern. Both went on for years that happened. Before they got caught. 2014 to 27, Moreland's full picture. 2017 to 2019 for Smith. So it went on for years. Years and years before it finally got caught. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. But it went on for years before it ever got caught. Imagine that. So ask the real question. How much is happening right now in 1 year that nobody's caught yet? By the hour it's happening, I think, in your courtrooms all across Tennessee, all across America. A lot. The invisible tax. This is what I mean by you pay in ways you never seen on a bill. Higher taxes to fund the investigations, slower trust in the courts and law enforcement, trust that protects you too when you need it. More scrutiny on honest public servants who did nothing wrong, and there's not very many of them. A public that starts assuming the worst about every official, even the good ones. The last one might be the most expensive cost of all, because when truth collapses, it becomes harder for honest people to do their jobs and easier for the next Moreland or the next Smith to hide. Today, these cases, a judge, a police officer, both trusted with power, most people never get. Both got away with it for years before getting caught, but nobody suspected because the system built to catch it either failed, moved too slowly, or only worked by accident. That's not a partisan problem, that's a design problem. The question nobody in power wants asked, every oversight board, every internal affairs division, every judicial conduct panel in this state will tell you this system works. It does, it runs cover for their crimes. Try to say that in a public forum with a proxy of self-interested voters and you see what the hell happens. With their full ability to counter it, but that's not enough, they want you off the planet. Well, I'll keep saying it. Ask them this: if the system works, why does it take an FBI investigation, a lucky internal audit to catch what should have been caught in year one? My position: I'm not just running for governor, I'm running to help change a system for you. I think Tennessee government is uniquely corrupt. I'm running because I think Tennessee is unaccountable. Corruption exists everywhere power exists. The question is whether the system self-corrects fast or whether it takes a federal indictment before anyone official admits there was a problem. The real oversight looks like this. Real oversight is a board that clears its own the first time a complaint is filed and then never revisits it. Real oversight is quiet internal audits that only become public after a resignation. Real oversight means external independent review, not an agency investigating itself, a board made up of the same professional circles as the people being investigated, and not fake news stories that facilitate their lies. And as I said, we may do a special show today with my legal firebrand, so maybe stay tuned, watch the channel today. We may have some sparks fly. Not from me, anything illegal, I'm just saying. I fight back, legally and legitimately. I spent 18 years in commissioned law enforcement. I know what it's like to do the job honestly, and I know what it's like to watch the system protect the wrong person when it matters. That's not abstract for me. That's the reason I'm standing here. And I'm standing here because I'm still protecting you. Let's stop this cover-up, this whole platform. In 4 words: not trust government more, trust government less. Force government to show its work. The same way I've shown you this paper trail, case by case, source by source. You've just watched 2 documented cases, not opinions, court records, DOJ press releases, controllers' investigations. There are many more going on right now before our very eyes in real time. You've heard of them, you know them, I've spoke about them. The paper trail existed the whole time. It just took someone willing to go find it and hold it up, a lot of times after they were out of power. That's what this campaign is, not promises, documentation, accountability. You can verify it. And the governor campaign is just a means, one means and methods to get the message out. And we got a means and method outside of the government campaign and inside it to facilitate the spreading of this information that's working like magic. And the indictment tells you what was stolen. History tells you what it really cost. Today I ask you to hold both of these numbers at once. Cost on paper and the hidden real cost to you. How many of these stories are out there right now waiting for someone to ask the same questions I've asked? Just like I asked and told them in Scott County, Tennessee, public schools are teaching creation. The actual law says they can't teach it as science. Epson versus Arkansas, 1968. Edwards versus Arguello, 1987. Only about religion, objectively as literature. No, public schools cannot teach creation like they're trying to say. So, let's talk about some of the sinners. Have a little fun here. What happened at the forum? A woman pushed back on me, said public schools already teach creation, teach Christianity, and used the forum to criticize me. She didn't even ask a question, and she didn't push back, use it to criticize me. And they can't do that in public schools. That's not right. That's not a public school. That's a private Christian school can only teach creation. And then they criticize my text, try to make a conspiracy out of that. Say I said I was waiting. When I was waiting on Michelle, I was asking Michelle if she was okay. You okay? Yes. Waiting. Waiting for what? To speak. Trying to turn that into a conspiracy theory. And a few other things I got here today. I want everyone to, if you want to, and I am, to pray for our military soldiers. We are actively engaged in a war with Iran with the assistance of Israel. And 3 service members recently have been killed. 3rd U.S. service members killed. And the propaganda news says as Iran war expands. That's not necessarily true. The Pentagon said a service member was killed in Iraq while troops disposed of an Iranian drone. It also said unidentified remains were found in Jordan. So pray for our soldiers as they fight to protect us from nuclear annihilation. So their death was not in vain. And so pray for them. And tomorrow, we may talk about the just war against power. Let's see if I've covered everything. I wanted to, and like I said, watch the show later on. We may, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Go live again today in a few hours at a particular location. I'm not going to say where it is because this campaign is dangerous as hell. How long we're going to do this, I can't promise you because it is so very dangerous. And no protection substantially from law enforcement. We are an open target, pretty much. They don't protect political candidates in Tennessee unless you get on board with what they're trying to say, and I'm not going to get on board with judges getting sexual favors for rulings. It's not going to happen with me. I'm going to stand against that, and I'm going to stand for your children. So, I want to mention about that forum. This is important to help you understand what's going on. Don't judge Tennessee by a few people. Don't be intimidated by these people. I'm not. Although cautious, I'm not intimidated by these thugs. So let me point something out. Don't confuse a loud, politically active few with the people of Tennessee or the people in Scott County or the news media. So these people that go to these forums, in my experience, for the most part, not all of them, go to the forums because they are a political candidate by proxy. Now, they're not on the ballot, but they represent a political position that they're trying to get across the line. Their candidate that's on the ballot that's going to get that position across the line that benefits them personally. So they're very extremely politically active and very extremely politically vocal and largely abusive if you have a different opinion. Now, they frame it as if you are the one that is wrong and that you're being angry and insulted. When it's gaslighting, they are. And it can be intimidating unless you understand the math. And I want to be fair, the people at that event were not representing the great people of Tennessee or America in Scott County the other day, in Oneida. There were good people there too, but a small group was loud, politically active, and focusing on advancing what their own interest, not yours or the children in the state of Tennessee. Now that's what this is about, the hearts, minds, and souls of our children. They don't have that interest in mind. They put their own agenda ahead of giving the public a fair discussion. I didn't even give a closing statement. Why is that? Because I didn't agree with them. Some of the organizers did not consistently follow the rules they set for everyone else. Instead of encouraging a fair exchange, they tolerated and endorsed behavior that undermined the purpose of the forum. The stated purpose of the forum, but it didn't undermine the real purpose, hidden agenda of the forum. They're even on Facebook today covering and backing up nasty eavesdroppers. Wow, imagine that. So, don't just take my word for it. Look at the text. Look at the Facebook post. Look at what was publicly said and endorsed. Read the record for yourself and then make up your own mind. Never judge Tennessee by its loudest voices. These people are politically active. They are getting their way. They're getting up and voting, but they're a small handful of people that get benefited by their vote, and they're pushing an agenda that they want. That is not necessarily good for the mass populace of Tennessee. And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. When they want to indoctrinate children like they do in Scott County at public schools, it's not. Absolutely not. So make up your own mind. The loudest voices are not necessarily the right ones. Judge it by millions of decent people who simply want honest fairness and a chance to be heard. And I'm your spokesperson. I didn't ask to be dragged into this fight. I was that night quietly, not seeking any kind of public attention, protecting the public for years and years and years. Lowest fatality rate for years while I was out on the road. Less people were killed. That was my agenda. Stop people from getting killed. I had the ability to do that with training and talent, and I did. And then they dragged me into this fight. So here I am. I'm here. And I intend to finish it lawfully, publicly, and with a record in my hand. Their version keeps the anger and termination, but removes lines that could be interpreted as threatening physical harm. I didn't threaten any physical harm, and I am angry and determined for the right reasons. So I didn't ask for this task. I didn't go looking for politics. Politics came looking for me. It's like water in a fight. You go where they allow you to go. They put me out in the news. Let's use that. Politics may not even be worth it, truthfully. If I had not been put in this situation, I would not be anywhere near public attention. But they put me out in the public bad That's where God's allowed. I have no other place to go. They don't understand. They're choosing this. They're choosing to publicly try to humiliate me for their own self-interest, when my self-interest was to protect you. And I'm not completely sure why I've been pushed into this position other than to fight for you. What I do know is this. I was living my life, working nights, providing public safety, and doing the job I believe I was supposed to do. I wasn't chasing headlines. I was not asking to become a public target. I was not trying to build a political career. Then government, people in government, the media, and political circles put my name in the news in the ugliest and most destructive, false way they could, and endangered my children. They used bad information. They repeated distorted stories. They treated me like the problem. I was doing dangerous work to protect the public. Some people apparently believed the public humiliation would make me disappear. They thought I would be too embarrassed, too tired, or too afraid to fight back. They were wrong. I did not originally plan to run. I didn't wake up wanting this fight. But when powerful people publicly attack you, misrepresent you, and try to destroy your name, they create consequences for themselves. Let me be clear. This is political resistance, public exposure, documentation, and lawful free speech. I'm not going to answer what was done to me with facts. I am going to answer what was done to me with facts, records, arguments, and public scrutiny. People who keep spreading trash should understand something. Every new attack gives me another reason to examine the record. Every false story gives me another issue to publicly discuss. Every attempt to silence me gives me another reason to speak louder. I'm warning people for their own good. Stop repeating claims you cannot prove. Stop enabling dishonest conduct. Stop assuming that nobody will challenge you. I know how to research. I know how to document. I know how to fight politically. And I do not quit easily. That is your warning. So here's White Oak, Tennessee, where I spoke with a public school teacher. Explained her my position. She understood. A public school teacher understood my position. She didn't criticize me in a public forum for votes to pursue an agenda. That's crooked as hell. And that is exactly what they're doing. We're going to show you some of these helpers that are helping me. They're really helping me. They're not hurting me at all. We're going to show you some of what they're saying. Seth McMillan, he's one of the organizers of this, apparently. He invited me to speak, as long as he liked what I said. So I'm allowed to go to this public forum, public debate, where as long as you allow yourself to be beat by them, you're good. That's what we want. Get beat down. Do not publicly stand up and disagree with our position and not back down. We won't tolerate that. Is that what kind of public political forums you want from Seth McMillan? He says, we invited Marsha or someone from her campaign to attend our event. We didn't receive any response back from the Blackburn campaign. Most of the high-profile governor candidates responded as courtesy even if they were unavailable. So I traveled over an hour to go there. Lost my microphone speaker. And for the thanks, because I stuck to a position and did not allow someone to criticize me publicly without responding, and they wouldn't even give me the microphone to respond. And if they say that I was mad about a question, there was no question. And somebody even says, yeah, right, she has been stealing tax dollars from Tennessee for years. And so you got these people trying to stir up trouble, stir up good press. So Someone says Julie M. Jones. Now she's out saying that it's all right to read somebody's text messages while they're texting their loved one on the phone asking how they are because you're concerned about them. It's all right to be eavesdropping. She's backing that up. You know what I mean? That's okay. It's not okay to be looking at somebody's phone eavesdropping a personal conversation between them and their loved one. And, oh, because you're a political candidate, you got to right to that. No, they don't. No, they don't. And if you do, to brag about that you're seeing them try to turn that into conspiracy theory. So this lady, Julie M. Jones, says, I want to see it. I personally think this should be. Nancy Duncan says, I personally think this should be a story for news media everywhere in Tennessee since it doesn't just affect Scott County. That's right. It ought to be. Thank you. Woo, get it out there. Hey, man, you think I'm afraid of you? Jokesters, self-interested, small handful of people that are nowhere near the mass population of Tennesseans. Wake up, Tennessee. These people are running over you. I want to see it too. I hope y'all do. And here's what this lady said. Bragging about eavesdropping. It's not appropriate to be looking over somebody's shoulder watching their cell phone what they're privately texting to their loved one. That's not appropriate behavior. It's called eavesdropping. It's disgusting. And what I was texting was asking Michelle if she was all right, and they're turning that into a conspiracy theory. That's how nasty and sick and pathetic a few handful of voters that try to humiliate you and act like they represent the mass population of Tennesseans. No, they don't. No, they don't. There are very small, disgusting people that show up at these events. They're not that many. Don't worry about them. Let them help us. So here's what she said. I was standing behind him. And he kept messaging someone saying that he was waiting for something. I was watching him but had to leave. He was arrested in Hamilton County for voter intimidation. She doesn't mention, but the charges were dismissed. She doesn't mention that, why was it dismissed? Because I didn't do anything wrong. Because the same group of people like her, called the police for someone disagreeing. Politically. For someone disagreeing like her. Same group of people called the police. They called them. So I was arrested in Hamilton County for voter intimidation. I didn't intimidate anybody. Charges were dismissed. Yeah, because I didn't do anything wrong. I disagreed. Former state trooper that was fired for negligence. Yeah, wrongly. She forgot wrongly. By a judge. You know, ones that do favors for rulings. So if the judge said it, then that's good. That's good. It's okay. So he was former state trooper that was fired for negligence, and I was waiting for something. Look at all this trash here by this jokester here, Missy Sexton. Now, if you know the difference, see, these criminal charges were dismissed. The negligence was decided by a judge, not a jury of my peers, obviously. So like, share, and comment. Missy Sexton, Seth Millen, thank you for coming to this event. And that's one of the promoters. That's one of the promoters, Seth McMillan. He's thanking Missy Sexton for coming to the event, who's standing behind me, watching me text, eavesdropping. Wow, amazing. And Seth McMillan, how about me? I drove over an hour to your little thug meeting where you got eavesdroppers. And according to that other lady, I'm supposed to let people look at my text messages to Michelle. And I'll show you exactly what I was text messaging her. That is a great conspiracy. And this is how these people do for standing up for a position that protects little children. And even if I'm wrong, say, hey, your position is wrong. Give that. Don't I have a right to have that position and run on a platform and say that position that represents the overwhelming majority of Tennessee that believe in school choice? I mean, that's the consensus. Surveys have been done. I'm in the majority. You're in the minority. You're just trying to act like you are. So here's the text message. I'll show it to the public. Here's what I said. He was waiting for something. That's what this lady said. And he's saying, thank you for looking over her shoulder. Michelle, she's been very sick. You okay? She said she's okay. I'm waiting. Waiting for what? To speak. Now that is, and he's thanking her for eavesdropping on me asking Michelle, who's been very sick, if she's okay. How disgusting these people are. And now they're following around on Facebook and trying to make this a statewide story about how they're right. I mean, sick, pathetic people. And listen to me. They are so very helpful. They are helpful, trust me. I don't have millions of dollars that I've exploited off people to put out a lie. I've got very few amount of money. I've got the truth, and these people are helping me spread it. It's not very hard to put out. Their stupidity. They tell me, Norman, I'm so proud of you, Kelly Needy. I never in my life seen anyone so despicable as that man. From the time he started speaking before, completely lost it. I drove over an hour to go up there. They didn't like what I said. They don't even appreciate me coming. They asked me to come. I mean, this is these people that go to these forums that control your elections while you're sitting at home. These are the people that are getting power. The eavesdroppers, the slanders, the defamers, the crooks, and building up these people that don't have a clue that we know what we're doing. These are the people. And here's another one right here. This is at another forum that I went to. That I'm speaking against the establishment for you. This is Mr. Hornback, I can't even say his name. Now he's part of the Republican Party here in Knoxville, the representative for the Republican Party. Wow, I'm impressed. Brian Hornyback, whatever, there he is. Tennessee Republican State Executive. There he is right there. He was on the vote. He was on the YouTube yesterday saying, it's time to go vote. Yeah, vote Republican. I'd look at people. Pro-abortion on-demand party amplifier is what he is. Now, they won't tell you that. Pro-abortion on-demand party amplifier. Hey, fake Republican Party. How's it going, Brian Fatback? Know what this is about? It's about calling out spiritual wickedness. Now, that's what this is about. He's a wicked man. So he let a Republican he let a Democrat at a Republican forum speak in a church. Republicans are pro-life. That's the position of the Republican Party, valuing life. They use a lot of churches to say the Republican Party is Christian. Pro-Christian is pro-Republican. So they had a forum for Republicans at a church here in Knoxville. They let a Democrat like Warlock, or whatever his name is in Georgia, that is a pastor of a church that promotes abortion, just like Herschel Walker said. You are supporting killing, murdering unborn babies. You're a pastor. You ought to be promoting their birth. One of the most racist things you can do. More African American children are aborted. And so, under the pretext of Republican form in a church, he lets a Democrat that's pro-abortion. The Democratic Party's pro-abortion. That's why I wouldn't vote for a pro-abortion Democrat. And let them speak at a church, at a Christian church, a Baptist Christian church in Knoxville. The leader of the Republican Party, full 5 minutes, uninterrupted, clapped after she was done. Republican. Let's kill babies after they're on the table. That's according to their own party. That's what they do. That's what they believe in. If a child survives an abortion, a brutal attack in the womb of a growing human being with a soul that God knew before they were born, if they're violently attacked, try to be annihilated, and they're born alive, according to and then they end up in a hearse. They don't even give them a hearse. They're not even that good to them. They put their body parts in containers and sell them. Get rich. And a Republican Party representative had a forum at a church, asked me to come. Now, I'm independent, but I lean Republican values. I'm a real Republican. I'm really more Republican than the Republicans are intended. I'm more Republican than the fatback is. Now, he tries to demoralize me. You don't know what this is about, boy. You ain't never been in a fight with a real South Knoxville boy that was raised without a daddy that knows how to fight and pray. And you're on my prayer list, and it ain't real good because you're responsible for the annihilation of millions of children, promoting that by your actions, you dirtbag. This is what this is about. Now, this is what they do. So he had this little forum here, and at Knoxville Church, Baptist Church. Well, it's a good party, Republicans. Republicans in name only. So, he asked me to speak. He said on his video next, I thought I should give everybody the chance to speak. Well, you should. You can disagree with them. But now you're not even going to give them the chance to speak. In a church. Can I go there and get saved if I wasn't saved? Probably not. Because it's not about anything to do with Christianity or religion. It's about them using the church to get power. That's dangerous, Mr. Hornback. I'd be watching out for trucks and stuff hitting me every damn day. You don't mess with God. You ain't messing with me. You're messing with God Almighty. We'll watch how things go for you. I pray for your soul. You think this is a game. It's a joke. Everything's a toy. Power. Yeah, you're about to get some. Maybe electric power pole that lights you up. I mean, you look at Michael Jackson. He hired his own executioner. Probably abused little children. He paid for his own execution. State didn't have to hire a botched execution. He got a real good one. Killed him pretty quickly in his 50s. So I'm just saying, God works in mysterious ways. Fatback, you better get on your knees and ask God about some of your doings under the pretext of the Republican Party. So he had this forum, asked me to come, and then to speak, told me in writing 5 minutes. I didn't cuss anybody, didn't use one damn cuss word. Didn't insult anybody. Told the truth. And even if I wasn't telling the truth, they got a right to stand up and say, well, this is what he said, and this is not true, and here's why it's not true. Everything I said was true. But they don't want that. You don't say it. You can't. Get out of here. Or shut up and sit down. So the pro-abortion Democrat that spoke at a Republican forum, he led them. And he's Republican. I've never voted Democrat in my life. Always voted Republican. I won't vote for somebody that kills babies. Now, there are some pro-life Democrats. There's nothing wrong with that. And there are some good pro-life, there are some good Democratic views. And there are some bad Republican views. But Republicans have the closest Christian values, supposedly, but not really. It's fake. So here's what this jerk did. Promised 5 minutes. I got there. They let the Democrats speak first. 5 full minutes, uninterrupted. Quiet. Republican in a church or a Democrat pro-abortionist, kill them on the table. Because that's what they do. If they survive the abortion, according to one of their own governors that's a doctor, if they survive the abortion, they discuss what they're going to do while the child is alive on the table. Instead of providing immediate medical care to a live born human being, discuss whether or not they will murder it while alive or let it live. That's not a question that should be answered. You should have never committed the brutal attempted murder in the first damn place. So he lets one of those people in that party that agree with that speak in a church using God's house. I'm just saying, Hornback, you better watch out what you're doing. I ain't got a lot of power. I try to wheel around as much as I can, getting more every day. You're dealing with God Almighty, boy, and messing with children involving demonic worship. So, and people can, whatever you want to think, I really don't care. I speak the truth. And allowed the Democrat to speak full 5 minutes, and then I got up to speak. The first, I think the third sentence that came out of my Christian mouth in defense of the public against these dirty judiciary in the state of Tennessee that I just told you. I'm not keeping this quiet. Judges, for the most part, across all of Tennessee are sexual perverts getting rulings for sexual favors. It happens all the damn time. Not all of them. It is prevalent. I've said it. I'll say it again. It's disgusting what these judges do. They know that. They ask me to speak. What do they think I'm going to say? I'm afraid to fight back? Boy, you charge me and you'll wake up about 3 weeks and wonder what the hell happened to you. You tried to hurt somebody that knows how to defend themselves. So I arrested more people at night than any trooper in the state for more than half a decade without a scratch on me. Fight back. What have you done? You got a lot of power around you, don't you? You dumbass. You're messing with God. And I couldn't even finish the sentence. This is routine at these places. Routine at these political events that are supposed to, they're supposed to have debates where people have opposing opinions. They're rigged. They're not for opposing opinions. They are set up rigged events for people like this to get power. And it's not power they need in the first damn place. He picked a fight that he's messing with some of the wrong people. And look at this lady. It says here. Wow, so if someone doesn't agree with your views in this particular instance, your reaction to a question from a student and her mother makes them a nasty person. Okay. Now, in the first place, I'm still waiting for the question. See how they frame it? They framed it that I was asking a question. I got mad. I'm going to ask the newsman. They're supposed to print an article about this. They want it to go statewide. What's the question that I was asked? I didn't hear a question. No, there wasn't a question. There was an insult. I don't care who it is. You insult me, I got that covered. I'll insult you back, truthfully. That's the way I roll. We're not in heaven yet. We're on the earth. You want to fight? Damn it, I'll give it to you. I'm not afraid of a fight. You don't understand. I'm dug in. I'm ready for this. You're messing with something you don't know what the hell you're doing. Now, I'm asking you, out of the goodness of my heart, not to do that. Really not caring if you do, because it just makes me more powerful. Keep spreading your lies. It's easy to point out. So you said, that's my reaction to a question. Listen to her, how she insulted me. Where's the damn question and all that? There was no question. There was a political position and an attempt to annihilate me in public, and I responded appropriately. That's called politics, civilized warfare. If you want to get up and criticize me, there was no question. If there had been a question, I'd have answered it. Then I'm going to tell the truth about you. If you don't like it, don't stand up and try to humiliate me. I'll try to humiliate you back. They can escort me out of the building all they want to. Stuff's going to go down, and I could care less. I'm just telling you, for your own benefit, I've been doing this a while. You're fixing to get slammed. And, it means nothing to me. I just ask you and tell you, and they won't do it, so it doesn't matter. So, 3 men escorted me out of the building. If they escort me out of the building, but they asking people votes on the way out. Calm down. Calm down. Hey, vote for me. I'm on the ballot. I'm not going to be calm. Vote for me. Hey, vote for me. That's not calm. That's not calm to ask for people to vote for you. How stupid these people are. You're calm and saying you're wrong. And I'm going to run for. Why don't you get on the ballot, Miss Jones? Why don't you get on the ballot, you nasty old bag? These nasty people. She says, in the eavesdropping you referred to, aren't candidates supposed to be honest and open book? So it's all right to eavesdrop on political candidates on their cell phones while they're texting their loved ones, asking if they're okay. That's fine. That's what kind of creeps these people are. I mean, basic human decency. Don't eavesdrop on private conversations between people and their loved ones. It doesn't matter if they're a political candidate. And that was watching over my shoulder secretly. Wow. And trying to make something out of it. And she says it, Julie M. Taylor Jones thinks, all right, if she's around you, watch your cell phone. I mean, my goodness. I could care less what that skank has on her cell phone. I could care less if this stirs up a storm, firestorm like nobody's ever seen. Good. I'm ready. Are you? Because you approve of eavesdropping and more. So here we have Election 2026, Scott County News Special Edition. Now they have said, this is what they said, what they say and what they do are two different things. They lie. What they're going to do is print what supports the positions of people who buy their newspaper and their political appointees. Scott County News is publishing a special election section, July 30th, 2026. Now listen to what it says here. We would like to invite all candidates to participate. All candidates. I'm on the ballot. I want to participate. I wanted to participate in that debate. They wouldn't let me. If you want to be featured in this special issue ahead of the August election, please submit 300 words or less pertaining to what your vision for Scott County issues you seek to address and why voters should cast their vote for you to be included in this free issue. So I want to be included. Will they include me with the full statement that I have? They've offered, haven't they? They've offered, but their offer is really, if you tone it down and go along with the sexual perverted judiciary and our small group of dissenters that really have a stake in it, that don't ask a question, but we say they do. If you are a candidate and weren't contacted by SCN, you think I was contacted, or know a candidate, please have them contact our office. So I'm going to make contact their office. And all information should be submitted by July 31st, July 23rd. So I got a few days, so we'll see. We'll see if I submit a 300 words or less address to people in Scott County. And I'm very well to do that. And we'll see if I do. My firebrand, we'll see. We may have a show later on today. I don't like to put out where I'm going because it is dangerous to me to pre-publish where I'm going. And also look at this right here. Julie M. Jones, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He provides me every. So she is promoting the gospel, Psalms, and eavesdropping. She's promoting the gospel of Jesus Christ and promoting eavesdropping by people. Wow, isn't that amazing? Promoting the gospel of Jesus Christ and promoting eavesdropping in the same vein. Same lady. That's all these people. That's these people. Fake as hell. Fake as hell. And these promoters of this stuff do this. It's bull crap. So Wendell M. Jones, Julie M. Jones, Psalms and eavesdropping on a political candidate alleging I was asked, hey, what's the question? What's the question I was asked? I wasn't asked a question. I was insulted. And slandered. I wasn't asking a damn question. Framing. He went off on somebody asking a question. These people are helping. And the same with Brian Fatback, promoting abortion in a Christian church undercover. So these political forums are cover for people that have a special interest to try to influence public perception by demoralizing candidates that don't go along with them and intimidating counter views. So I encourage everyone that believes in school choice, which is the prevalent view across the state of Tennessee, get up and go vote in November the 3rd. I'll be on the ballot. Call your legislator and tell them you're for school choice, for school vouchers. You don't like how it's done, and I like the sheriff that was running up there that said he's for firemen and police because they're the ones carrying the load for the most part. So tomorrow or Wednesday, we're not probably have a show later on this afternoon. Maybe we'll show up somewhere and see what goes down. Maybe nothing. Hopefully, we'll take the political fight to them. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going because it may be very dangerous. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, and we'll see. Maybe not. And we'll have a show Wednesday about just war against power, or Tuesday, maybe this afternoon. So let's see if we got any comments on here. Still got 100 people in here. Like, share, and comment, and subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's see if we got any good comments. At the ones earlier. My dad's nickname was Buddy. In Vietnam, they called him Tom. Damn, so USA is going through able men and conscription. Okay. I don't understand some of these comments. I've got good friends your side of the pond. Okay, let's see some of the bottom ones. I'm not from Yo Charles, I'm in Mississippi. I'm not far. Hello, Mississippi. Basically, cheese on toast. God bless America. I'm reading for you guys, God bless America. We truly want you as well, better and happier. Thank you. Breaks my heart to see y'all so divided. Knoxville, I live in Maryville. Hello, Jonathan, 9816. Respect, okay. Registered Republican, NG, listing in. Hello, neighbors, hello. Left or right, you're all American. A house divided falls. Bad and good on both sides, but when you stop talking, trouble starts. I agree with that. I hope you call all share of world still. Political candidates are still protected by civil rights, both sides. Somebody retracted the message. It's not illegal, it's immorally wildly. That's terrible. I don't know what they're saying. Okay. It's a rough ride, that's right. Nothing wrong with a southpaw. No such thing as perfect person, so all of us can relax a little. That's right. Anthony, I was going to mention that as well. They're good boxers. Okay, let's see what any new text coming in. And we'll release the Epstein files, release all the Epstein files. I think they already have. Hillary is locked up too, but they don't cover that. No statute of limitations on email destruction. Trump is stealing from the American people. I'm just reading text messages in here. He must be reading comments from the Truth Social Live. Somebody wants the Epstein files released. Obama is in jail in case the evidence was cold and blue. They don't cover that in the mainstream media, though. That's not true. I don't think he's in jail. And thank you to our subscribers. Trump offered and accepted to send reparations. It was an intentional treaty that was brokered through international effort. It was unwound by Donald Trump at the demand of Netanyahu. That's not true. A lot of information. Released the Epstein files. Okay, any good comments? Anybody want to ask me a question? Where's the testimony of the victims? You know there is no such thing as email destruction. Okay, people talking about things that have nothing to do with corruption in the state of Tennessee, but that's all right. You are a true American. God bless you. Thank you. Trump is the worst president ever. I don't believe that. Iran or USA? Which one is winner of this war? USA. Why haven't we seen that? She hit the server with a hammer, then set it on fire. Released the Epstein files. Okay, people talking about Hillary Clinton. How that came up, I don't know. But y'all feel free to talk about whatever you want to talk about. So we'll get the heck off here. You might want to pay attention to this channel later on this afternoon. Might not be nothing, might be something, I don't know. But we're going to be politically active, I will just say that. And support the channel. Got 83 likes, please a few more. If you haven't already joined the channel, join it. We'll start putting out some private content. Maybe. Thanks for the hearts. The U.S. are bombing Iran because of the ego of an elderly child. No, they're not. They're bombing Iran because of their trying to get nuclear capabilities to bomb America. And that's why we're at war with Iran, for a legitimate reason. I support the war. God bless Israel. God bless America. So thank y'all for joining. Watch again, as I say, and we'll get the heck off here. Not true. There is no proof of that. Okay. God bless you all. And weapons of mass destruction, of course. No nuclear weapons. And there is proof. God bless us all. That's right, David. And thank you all to my supporters. Thank you to my fans. I appreciate you all. You do keep me safer with more eyes looking in. Makes it harder for them to run over me. If you live outside Tennessee, call people and tell them to vote. If you live in Tennessee, go vote on November the 3rd. My name's on the ballot. Take other people with you. If you haven't voted, we only need a few of you. And we can win this election for you. If you live in Scott County, hey, I love you people. A lot of great people up there. Don't let these sick, pathetic people run over you. You don't have to tell me you vote for. Go to the polls and vote quietly November the 3rd. Give me a lot of votes in Scott County, Tennessee and Oneida. We'll try to make sure you don't have a nuclear waste dump in your community. No one will fight like me to stop that. And it ain't by using the law. I know the law. It's by fighting and contesting these people and not being afraid of them to their face. And we'll do that. And even if we don't win the governor's office, which is statistically highly unlikely, although it is possible, we can still get political pressure to put on these people to stop them from making Tennessee the nuclear dump site for possibly, if they can get some money out of it, the world. And they would do that. They sure as hell would. They get super rich off of it. Don't let them fool you. They're not fooling me. They're nasty people. So pay attention. Keep your eyes open. You got 86 likes. Let's get up to 150. So vote for me in Scott County, Oneida. You don't have to tell these people. You don't have to fight with them. Let me take care of that. I got it. I got you. I'm not afraid of them. They're bullies. Best thing to do to a bully is symbolically punch them in the damn face. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Hello. So let's punch the hell out of him. Charles Van Morgan is a heretic. I don't even know what Trump is a nasty person who's gotten super rich off his deals. He was already super rich. And no man's perfect, but I think he's doing a great job. I support Donald J. Trump. I supported Joe Biden when he was in office. Hope he did a good job. My call, a loser. There's one of my fans. Thank you for helping the algorithm. And let me say this. Bureau and Travel, Tom Pippin and his friend. Watch that show. Great show. People that ain't fooled have a lot of great information. They teach me a lot of stuff. I listen to people who talk intelligently and who talk realistically and respectfully to people who can be talked respectfully too. And I also like it that people disrespect them. They'll disrespect you. So, I mean, that's the way it goes. People want some kind of utopia where you can say whatever you want to people and they'll be nice to you back. It doesn't work that way. That's not going to happen with some people. And so I like the show. Commentator on there. And Tom Pippin, if you slander them, hey, they got it. They'll answer you. You won't like the answer. But that's a lot unheard of. And cowardiceness is prevalent among a lot of people in politics, actively involved. There's a lot of people in politics that are quiet behind the scenes. And God bless you all. More of us than them. So watch your own travel. Great show. Wonderful commentators. Not fooled, respectful. As far as they can be. So God bless them. Great people. They had like close to 200,000 people on one show getting a message out. And it's a good, truthful message in spite of opposition. I don't think they're intimidated. They don't appear like it to me. So watch that show. And we got 87. Let's at least get up to 90. Where are the actual ideals? Trump psychopath liar. Boy, we got a lot of people with Trump derangement syndrome. TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. A lot of people have VDS, van derangement syndrome. And this guy here thinks Trump is just fine and dandy. I do. I voted for him. If he runs in 2028, I'll vote for him again. I like his position on things and appreciate what he's doing for this country. All you do is moan about your problems. I'm not moaning about problems. All I do is moan about my problems. Let's look at that, okay? I'm on the governor's ballot. So that's not moaning. That's on the ballot. I've got a federal civil lawsuit filed against these people. So let's turn this off so it won't get. So he's playing music, and it'll knock me off the air, copyright. But so I'm on the governor's ballot. That's nothing. Statewide campaign, knocked on 40,000 doors in the past 3 years. All I do is, Now I listen to other people's problems, figure out how to correct them. I've got a federal civil rights lawsuit. I'm a law school graduate, passed the bar twice, and all I do is nothing. So yeah. You could maybe accuse me of doing too much, but I don't think you can accuse me of doing nothing legitimately. So, go silent because you can't answer the questions. What question you want me to answer? I haven't heard one yet. I haven't heard a question yet. The moment any of you tell your friends and family with sincerity, Trump is full of shit, you just commented social suicide. This is the very nature of the cult. No matter what you believe, you can't leave. NSL is a fake law school. No, it's not. It's got an appeals court judge on it. It passed the same bar. Okay, even I'll give you that, Mr. Mike Hawk. I'll give you that, you slanderous fool. And thank you for helping the algorithm. Okay, so say NSL is a fake law school. Yeah, I'll give you that. Say it is. Okay. The bar exam that I took, you take it, was the bar's exam the University of Tennessee students take, that students in law schools that you claim are legitimate take, all across the state of Tennessee. The same bar exam that they take in California, take in New York, take in Florida, and the states in between. Same bar exam that I passed. So I'm exceptionally intelligent if I didn't even go to a real law school, and I can still pass the bar exam. So you just made me even smarter. I didn't even go to a real law school, and I still passed the bar exam. So I'm pretty damn smart. So thank you for pointing that out. NSL is a fake law school. So I went to a fake law school, didn't get educated appropriately, and was still able to pass a bar exam twice, that you can only pass if you've been to a law school or are exceptionally smart. So thank you for pointing that out. You do too much crying. Crooks and con men in the White House. No, they're not. They got the 6 black guys that issued a huge knife to cut out the reflecting poll losers. Your plans for Tennessee and improving our lives. Well, maybe there's some wax in your ears. Because, or maybe if you're like me, which you're not, that you're in law enforcement, you risk your life for the public safety and ruined your ears, and you have to have hearing aids that you can't hear. But my plans for Tennesseans, one of the biggest issues, get this, like I haven't ever said it before, is to try to lessen public corruption and hold people in the government accountable to the mass populace of Tennesseans instead of their own damn special interests. That will solve an amazing amount of problems. I've just spent 2 hours talking to you today about the cost of that. So that's one of the things I'm going to do. Many others. So let's see if there's any other good questions. They heard what Trump said about not being able to, so they did it. Okay. The country will never forgive you people. Are you going to ramble on YouTube Live once you get elected? I'll probably have a show on YouTube, and I will meet at least once a week. And I like your attitude, your confidence in me. Once a week in a different city. I'll promise monthly, but usually once a week in a different city. And sometimes go to handicapped people. It's houses that can't go to a meeting, or elderly people. And talk to them at their house, and go to public meetings at least once a month, and listen to Tennesseans, usually once a week in a different city in Tennessee. With security, it'll be secure, it'll be fine. And listen to what Tennesseans are telling me and what they want their government to do. Not loudmouths, but the civilized, respectful people, and it may be some of them mad. And I'll even go to protests where people are protesting and listen to them and see what they're saying and see how we can accommodate people and run the government in the favor of the mass populace Tennesseans, and try to provide services that benefit you and not the corporations and not people in power the way it's done now. And get rid of a lot of these dirt bags. You would tear up the recycling pool. The county will never forgive you. Okay, no, you're clearly a dumbass. Prove it, I don't know. People talking to each other. Charles Van Morgan did not pass the bar exam. He's lying to you. That's easy to find that I passed the bar exam. Type my name in under the bar exam, my name comes up, the pass list. It's on the internet several times. I passed it twice. And so, you know, yeah. What's your plans for Tennessee? I already told you. And let's see a few more. I'm fact checking him in real time on a phone. You can't do it on a computer. Who is the character? Okay, I don't. Here's on. Didn't go to law school, but he passed the bar exam twice because, according to him, he's extraordinarily intelligent. I don't believe this guy would listen to anyone. He's just blabbering. Okay. Well, thank you for helping the algorithm with your foolishness. Imagine being so lost in cognitive dissonance that you think your political parasites are better than their political parasites. This is definitely both sides of the pose. Actually, that makes sense. All you have to do is Google this shit he claims about himself, and the lies are right there exposed. Okay, Google it. I mean, funny. If I'm lying about my educational credentials, call the police. It's a crime to say you have educational credentials you don't have. So, you know, have them lock me up. I got a degree from the university just a few feet from here, University of Tennessee. And better than that, it's called life experience. Can't even define communism. I didn't realize the question politician was communist. Okay, so we're going to get the heck off here. Almost been on here 3 hours. 87 likes. Let's get up to 90. And if you hate me, hit the like button. We'll get off here. If you love me, hit the like button. And we'll still get off here when we get 90. But thank you all for watching. May God bless you all. And I hope the best for everyone in the state of Tennessee, even my haters. I hope that you change your ways. I don't have much hope that you will. That's not my thing. I know what I'll do if you don't. But do you support the removal of memorial to black WW2 veterans in the Netherlands by Trump? Probably. Why your arrest for intimidating voters? And because I was peacefully trying to get votes, running for public office. Committed no crime. And people wanted to have me arrested to keep me from getting votes. It's called voter suppression, voter intimidation by the system. Because that's how it is in Tennessee. You can't run for public office unless you have $1 million in your pocket. They violate the Constitution. That's why, because of government corruption. I was falsely arrested. That's exactly why. So, I mean, you go figure yourself. Do they have a conviction? Did they take me off the campaign trail and stop me from asking people to vote for me? Yes, that's called voter suppression. While I was in jail, you think about it, while I was in jail, incarcerated, not free. The now governor, Bill Lee, the dress man, the transvestite, was out asking people to vote for him. I couldn't. I was arrested by his Republican Party because that's the one that called the police on me. So that's why. A law degree, a former police officer, and you still went to jail? Yeah, because I'm standing up against them. I'm not part of their corruption. Doesn't need much thought. You were guilty. Guilty of what? Why didn't they get a conviction? Guilty, yeah. You're guilty of helping me promote the algorithm. Thank you very much. So 88, only 2 more. You're guilty of helping me with the algorithm. Thank you. You told you all you dance do is lie. Okay. Didn't even spell that right. All you people do is lie. No, I'm telling the truth. The hard, difficult truth that nobody wants to say. So we got 88. Let's get 90 likes. We got about 2 more. Still got almost 100 people in here. Thank you all so very much. Hit the like button. 2 more likes. And hit the subscribe button. More important than that, hit the channel. When it comes on, watch it. And that's on me. It's like a rock singer. You play pretty enough music, people will listen. You have good enough dialogue, tell enough truth, people will listen. So it's really on me. So somebody taking likes away. You want me to talk longer? Well, I might. So that's on me to get viewers. I've got to sing a pretty song, tell the truth, a real good story, and I'll get the likes and watches, and it'll go viral. If I don't, it's on me. So I'll take responsibility for that. So, got 87, we'll get off here. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. Accept the Lord Jesus Christ in your heart.